Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. We just have one announcement this morning. Students, if you're interested in doing dance lines, color guard, or the majorette with auxiliary lines, please go by to Jessica Johnson's room and sign up on her door on March the 1st. Everyone have a great day.
Right, Wednesday of a short week, which means it's basically almost Friday. Yeah, right. Wednesday of a short week. Obviously, tomorrow will be our last day together. So, that just shapes our week a little differently. A 4-day week versus a 5-day week. Kind of already almost at the end. Now, I will still be coming to work on Friday, so I still got 5 days on the brain. Knox, you got a story you want to tell? So there I was on the baseball diamond.
Oh yeah, I slipped it there, like on the skin on.
Dang. I thought you had pants for that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I slapped this one down.
Ooh. Yeah, that one's been smart. You put some peroxide on that yet?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, did you scream?
Nah, I couldn't scream.
Because people were watching.
Yeah.
Well, I follow the Bacon County School District athletics page pretty closely, and whether it's home games or away games, I'm always trying to see the scores and what people are doing. So watched we were pretty busy district yesterday, and I personally was at middle school tennis. So go Raiders all over the place, and I was watching your score updates. And I love when they post pictures, whether they're the really good pictures, like Mr. Vickers takes good pictures, or they're just cell phone pictures. I like seeing the pictures. I like seeing your extracurricular activities, FCCLA, band. I love what y'all are involved in. I know that you are more than just walking through this door and you're sitting in a history class. I know that you're more than just that. So I want to be a part of your whole lives, and I enjoy watching your extracurricular activities as well. So today we are gonna continue with the Renaissance, and Logan is the one person that's situated. Go ahead and take out the page of notes.
Today we have advisement.
We do have advisement today, and I thank you for that reminder. That means we're kind of leaving about 10 minutes early. It's by the way. Okay, I see some confused faces. It is an advisory day because they are continuing registration. So even though it's Wednesday and we don't typically go to advisory on Wednesday, we will go to the advisory today. And somebody help me. I think the bell is at 9:20. So that is even a few minutes earlier than usual as well. Spencer needs a page. There's the page of the week. We're on the back side. So what's going to be due come tomorrow is this page, right? We've been working on it all week. We are up to, somebody tell me what we're up to on the page. Yep, we're actually going to go Leonardo da Vinci today and Michelangelo tomorrow. So you'll be focusing on the Leonardo da Vinci block today. I do have a bit of a handout and an activity we'll get to today. So that's going to make our 2 daily grades for the week. So just to be clear, everybody's in the room right now. You kept up with your notes all week. This page right here will be due come tomorrow. Once we tidy up Michelangelo, okay, I'm not going to take it from you before we finish, but we'll finish out Michelangelo. This page will be due, and the activity page we're going to get to today, that will be due as well. So, some weeks we get 3 or 4 grades, some weeks we get 2 grades. Obviously, some weeks we roll into an exam. I just want to be clear about what's due tomorrow. Your Renaissance vocab and your the activity I'm going to give you today. You really can't mess that one up because we're going to do it in class. So, with your notes out, looking at the Leonardo da Vinci section, let's get started. I got a mission brief for you. We're going on an adventure today.
It looks like an escape room.
Yeah, a little bit, not quite a full-on escape room, but I do think you're going to enjoy today's class. So here's your mission briefing. Here's the summary. I hope you recognize some of these terms because it is things we've talked about. The Black Death was the darkest moment of the Dark Ages, or we talked about it as feudalism. The people of Europe decided it was time for a change. They looked back to their glorious past as the Romans and the Greek societies with hopes of recreating it. Old books, now called classics, become their instruction manuals. Could they do it? Could they finally break out of the darkness? So a question for you. Tell me, what was the Renaissance and how did it start? What have we said Renaissance means?
The reborn.
Rebirth. Excellent. I think I'm drill this vocab term because it's important. Renaissance means rebirth. Just as in the mission summary, it says they're looking back to the classical past and they want to use that philosophy, that education, that art, that architecture as their manual for breaking free from the dark ages, right? Let's get out of the medieval time period and recapture our glorious past. So how did it start? What did we say? Where did it start? What are some characteristics of the Renaissance we've talked about? Chucky. Florence, Italy. Super important city that we have mentioned several times. What is notable about Florence? What does it sit along? It's in Italy. What'd you say? Okay, next to Greece and Rome, but it's how is it situated in water? Thank you. That's what I was going for. Water is going to be the answer a lot of times, right? It's like if you're in Sunday school, what's always the correct answer? Jesus. If you're in world history class, what's the point of origin? Water. Water is pretty much always the correct answer. You could always say water is life. So Florence, Italy, being situated as a port city along water. What is a port city good for? Why was Florence easily a hub city for the Renaissance? Trade, that's right. A lot of trade routes come in and out of Florence, Italy. With traders comes new products, new ideas, cultural exchange, religion. This is why Florence, Italy was a significant starting point for the Renaissance. All right, let's move along in our journey here. Oh, Lil Wayne, he's got a rebirth, just like our Renaissance. Renaissance being a word that literally means rebirth. I don't listen to Lil Wayne all that much myself, but maybe that connects to you. We're going on a journey today, Miss Rozier.
Okay, so let's see.
Let's see if I get all my clicks right. Book of old shelf of books. And on these books, we're seeing faces of various Renaissance thinkers and writers and scientists and politicians. So you see in the middle of the screen there, Aiden, I see your favorite. Who is it? Mona Lisa. There she is. Yeah. You also see the face of Galileo. We see Da Vinci. We see several monarchs. We even see Shakespeare up there. So we have quite the journey ahead of us. Quite a significant cast of players as are part of the Renaissance. So let's get into it. Chapter 1, the Renaissance. Oh, turn that page. Listen to that sound effect. So Marco Polo. Now, we haven't talked about him too much. I'm going to give you this much right now. How do you probably know the name Marco Polo? You actually did it right.
Okay.
Say it again. A game. What kind of game? A lot of times in the pool. Tell me how this game is played.
Close your eyes.
Okay, all right. Someone closes their eyes, and then there's all the people around, and the main person says, Marco, to which everyone in the pool has to reply, Polo. Now, you know the game. Do you know the man? Why is this game kind of significant and it connects with Marco Polo's life?
He was in Peabody, Sherman.
He was, let me hear Bryce.
He was in the Peabody and Sherman.
He was in Peabody and Sherman. Okay, I'll take it. I love that movie. And if you guys understand history a little bit better because of Mr. Peabody and Sherman, I'm for it. That's good. Marco Polo was what type of a person though?
Was he blind?
He was not blind. Oh, I like that. They say, in the game you cover your eyes. That's not exactly Marco Polo's story. That's just a part of the game. Just like in the pool, you are searching for the other people. He was an explorer. So the name of the game is actually about this famous Italian explorer, Marco Polo. And it's kind of fun to say his name and shout it back and forth. Marco Polo, Marco Polo. Marco Polo, though, this is him. He was an Italian explorer, and he actually traveled and navigated the Silk Road. We didn't get to hang out with the early civilization of China all that much. We didn't get to really talk about the Silk Road. Now, we did say that the Black Plague, the bubonic plague, traveled along the Silk Road, as did many other products. Well, Marco Polo is an explorer who went from Europe to the east along the Silk Road, and then importantly, he came back to share of his stories and the riches he found. So Marco Polo is kind of an early explorer, bringing back luxury items, goods, and stories, right? Word of mouth stories. Not many people had visited the Far East. So as he returned from his journeys, he, as nice as it is to have the riches and the items, and maybe even, some clothing that he brought back with him, it was the stories people were really interested in. And when he was able to share his stories, what life is like on the other side of the continent, it gave the Europeans an appetite for exploration. One of our next units is the Age of Discovery. We're gonna talk about a lot of Europeans who had an appetite for discovery. Marco Polo was kind of the first among them. So Marco Polo kind of sets the scene, lets Europe know that there's more out there, and people are curious as to what they might find on the other side of the world. Turn that page one more time. My friend, Johannes Gutenberg. What has he invented that changed the world? Gutenberg invents the printing press. Logan Lane, I hope the rest of you were thinking it. Johannes Gutenberg, JG. A lot of times I just like to think about his initials. JG invents the PP, the printing press. So what was the printing press good for? We already have had this conversation. I hope you can tell me. Okay, so now things don't have to be handwritten. That's notable, Jackie. Spreading ideas, and in what fashion? There's 3 key words. Did you capture them in your notes?
Yeah, like
Fast.
cheap.
Cheap. Yeah, cheap, efficient spread of ideas. I guess that's the third one. The cheap and efficient spread of ideas. So no longer did we have to handwrite pages. No longer, and that would take a long time to make several copies of the same book. Also, we could start exploring new languages. Instead of just Latin, he was able to print in multiple languages. What was the first book he ever printed and bound together? The Bible. So it kind of gives an emphasis on religion of the day. And some of you, if you're adding to your Gutenberg notes, that might be a good idea. He was on the front page, Johannes Gutenberg and the printing press. So the printing press was a device to easily make more copies. Very normal for us today to click the word print and then magically, however many copies I want appears on the printer room next door. This morning, I was able to print just as many copies as I needed with the click of a button. Whereas in previous days, that would have been my whole job, is hand copying, copies. So obviously the printing press makes copies more easier. I love the moving image there. It's kind of describes exactly how the printing press worked. It spread reading to the common people since books became more cheaper. No longer was the priest the only one who had a Bible or could read the Bible or could translate the Bible. Now commoners in their own language could also have texts in their hands. Same goes for politics and law. No longer was only the town elected officials the ones who kept the law. Now everybody could read the law and have a copy of the law in their own hands. It's going to lead to a period of new thinking called the Enlightenment. We'll get there. It's going to lead to revolutions like the American Revolution. You're a product of it. It's going to lead to documents like the Declaration of Independence. Our country is founded on this type of writing and printing. And then the church, so I kind of said it a handful of times. I'll ask you this question. The church lost its control of knowledge. It's kind of a powerful way to say the effect of the printing press. How did the church lose control of its knowledge? Say it louder for the people in the back.
They weren't the only one who had the Bible.
They weren't the only ones that had the text anymore, the Bible, and also language. It wasn't only in Latin anymore. It could be in German, French, and English for that matter as well. So, priests were, as much as you would like to think that a pastor is doing the right thing and leading his people towards salvation as a steward of the word, a lot of priests were power grabbing and they were keeping that word to themselves. They were translating it as they saw fit so that they could stay in power. Church being central in people's lives, people just submitted to whatever the priest would say. Printing press changes all that. Now people can have a book in their own hands and they can read it in their own language. So Johannes Gutenberg, pretty significant to world history. Showed you a quote that he said, give me 26 soldiers of lead and I will take on the world. Now, he doesn't mean a soldier like Captain Swanson, right? Put me in lead. That's not what he's talking about. What was he talking about?
Letter.
26 letters of movable type. You can arrange them into an infinite combination of words. You can print that word onto a paper, and you can spread that message all over the world. Like I said, the Declaration of Independence, pretty good example for Americans to think about, because that printed document changed our country, and a lot of printed documents have changed the world beyond that. Next page, humanism. So this was our conversation yesterday. Humanism took a focus off of what? Takes the focus off of religion and puts the focus on what?
Teamwork.
Human accomplishment. I like teamwork. Bryce remembers that picture of the guys helping each other up the mountain. It's a departure from all things religious, looking to religion for answers, praying to unseen gods for hope, for hope and for rain and for the crops. And it puts it on human accomplishment. Here's a pretty good summary of humanism. The study of man's ability to improve the quality of life on earth through studying the classics. And when we say the classics, I like to think about the big three in Greece, SP and A. Who are they?
Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle.
Excellent, right? So it's a recapturing of these thought processes. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. Man, those guys were smart. Why did we ever leave their teachings? Let's go back to that. That is, this period of the Renaissance is returning to the classical teachings of SP and A, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. So again, we are, I told you we were inside of Michelangelo, but at the same time, kind of reviewing our whole front page here. So if you feel you need to add to your notes and vocab, certainly a good time to do that. Man has his own destiny in his own hands. Man can improve the quality of life on earth. We don't have to pray to a God in order to have our circumstances changed. Humanism, like the answer is in the name. Humans are responsible for their own destiny. A couple more words here. Heaven is cool, right? Religion is fine. Okay, it wasn't a total shunning of religion. It just took an emphasis off of religion. But guess what? Old books can teach us some good stuff too. We like the Bible. We're going to paint about it. We're going to sculpt about it. We're going to keep praying. But man has written some pretty cool things too. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, chief among them. Let's be sure to not neglect the good teachings that come from other books as well. This is humanism. Ooh, Leon crushed me over here, right? Socrates actually did not write his thoughts down. We have to rely on his student Plato for what we know his thoughts to be. Very, very good thought, Liam. Very good thought. Thank you for that.
So what you see from that is that they focus on the life instead of the afterlife.
Ah, very good point.
Yeah.
Very good
So
point.
that's what religion was focusing on that afterlife. And so there's like more to life is basically what he's saying in through the humanism.
Yep, and my green statement there, it's okay to enjoy life on this earth too, right? We don't have to just pursue the afterlife. Now, again, I'm teaching you humanism. You may have personal different beliefs. I have personal different beliefs, but this is what humanism says. And then finally, education is important. Education matters again. So it's a rebirth of education inside of this time period as well. The peasantry focused on labor for 100+ years. Now it's like, hey, maybe there is more than just working the land. Education for all should matter. And you are a product of that. You're sitting in a school because we believe education matters.
Basically that we need those common things.
All right, moving on to Florence, Italy. Actually, maybe I failed to show it to you on a map, so let me do it here. Italy looks like a boot. There you have Florence. I would say that dot should be a little more to the water side because we've talked about it being a port city. That is Florence, Italy. The Renaissance starts in Florence, Italy, and follows the arrows, spreads to the north. So those traded goods and items and culture and religious, the whole exchange that happens in Florence doesn't just stay there, because otherwise Florence would be the only city that was growing during this time period. Those ideas and that cultural exchange spreads outward to the rest of Europe. Italy's location on the sea meant it has a lot of travelers. Travelers bring ideas. I've said this a lot of times in a lot of ways. I like the sketch here. Okay, there's no photography at this time period. We're getting a little closer to photography. But the sketch here just shows, how busy the ports would be, right? Traders from China, traders from Japan, traders from Turkey, traders from Egypt. Everybody flocks to Florence in order to make their trades. And then it's almost, I don't know, if you've ever been on a cruise ship and you come into port and you're going to go out for your daily trip, on the vacation you're taking. Think about how busy those shops are and how busy the souvenir stands are. That's kind of like what was going on in Florence day in and day out. Except it wasn't cheap trinkets, it wasn't cheap souvenirs, it was cultural exchange, religious exchange, books, etc. Also had the benefit of roads that were left over from the Roman Empire. So traders come in through the water, ideas then extend out through the roads. So here's how all of our learning is coming together. We didn't talk about Rome and then forget about it. The Roman roads are still notable even into this Renaissance time period. And actually, I think I showed you some pictures that show Roman roads still exist to this day. So that's pretty cool. Let's move on to now the artists. Chapter 2 in our book, the artists. Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello. Who am I talking about? Where's Master Splinter? Where's April? No, not the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But maybe you can see, if you're a cartoon fan, you look at the names of these guys. These are the names of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So if you've ever wondered, sometimes our pop culture has more historical connection than we realize. If you ever wondered how the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles got their funny names, Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, they're actually named from these Renaissance artists. And then are you mind blown right now? Now, I don't know about Master Splinter. He's not a Renaissance artist. He's just the sensei. So the artist. And again, like I said, today we are going to hang out specifically with Leonardo da Vinci. But before we get there, we got to understand that a lot of these artists were not famous in their lifetime. Today, we call them Renaissance men. We recognize that they are multi-talented. They are household names, famous people to us today. But a lot of these guys were poor, starving, unknown, unfamous in their lifetime. The way that they were financed, the way that they had food on the table, I'm talking about like crackers and soup. The way they had food on the table was through what is known as patrons, or we might use the word sponsors. Has anyone ever been on a travel softball team and you had to get sponsors, kind of help out with the finances of your travel softball, basketball, whatever? Anybody? Travel sports. Raise your hand if you played travel sports. Band, golf, of any sport. Okay. And have you ever done a fundraiser of any sort? Right? We're raffling guns, baseball. I know you do that. Knox, pick your head up. Liam, pick your head up. I know you guys. I know we raffle things, or we put things on T-shirts, or we do 50-50 raffle. Like I know this town fundraisers a lot. Band. Where my banders at? I know you sell detergent. I've gotten asked every semester so far. Anyhow, my point there is you have sponsors. Well, these artists also had sponsors, and the word was actually patron. Patron. Hey, we're almost at our bathroom break. Hang with me, okay? I'm giving you some teaching up front. We're going to play a game at the back. This family named the Medicis, or you might say Medici. Okay, I've heard it pronounced both ways, Medici or Medici. This family was basically like the mafia of Florence, Italy. They were a family of bankers. Bankers are what? Rich. All about the money. Okay, they're the haves. They have the money. And as such, they sponsored these starving artists to create art that they wanted to see in the world. The Medici family was a very powerful family, almost like the mafia. Okay, that's a good comparison. There's a whole lot of interesting stories about the Medicis. I'm not going to give you too many of them right now. We will talk about the Medicis before our Renaissance weeks round out. But they funded, they sponsored, they paid many artists during the Renaissance. And without them, the Renaissance may not have happened. So this is a picture of kind of like that godfather figure of the Medicis. Like I do a lot, let me ask you, what stands out to you about him? His nose. What about it? A little bit hooked and jabbed. What else we got? Ears. They're really small, aren't they? So they're pretty big. Pretty big ears. What's that? Wrinkles. Okay, so he's a little bit old and he's seen some things, right? He's gone through some life. What you can't tell in this picture is because it's black and white is that this family, their family colors was red, and I think a lot of times red like blood because they actually had a lot of blood on their hands. Okay, there was a lot of murder for hire, a lot of backstabbing. Right, if you were next in line for the family fortune, you needed to watch your back because someone might be coming for you. So So this is a whole list of the Medicis. I mean, they were in power for a very long time, so the power cycled through many of them. Fellow on the lower left, he actually goes on to become Pope, and it is said that he purchased the position of the Pope. Probably not the kind of person you want leading the Holy Roman, the Holy Catholic Church, is someone who
Just
purchased
to say they were not
the
innocent
position. Yeah.
as a family.
So a whole lot of palace intrigue and murder and twisted stories from the Medicis. But again, these are the people that sponsored these now masterpiece type artists like Michelangelo and Da Vinci. Here's one in particular, Lorenzo de' Medici. He becomes a leader of the mob of the clan at age 20. So I don't know about you, but I wasn't ready to be much of a leader of anything at age 20. But he becomes a leader of this whole powerful family at age 20. And as such, again, the whole family, but Lorenzo in particular, he's a supporter of Da Vinci and Michelangelo. That's kind of the time period that he connected with. So you could say his support of them allowed the world to have the type of art that they came up with. If they were starving artists and they had to go to some labor job just to make ends meet, maybe they never would have had the chance to actually perform their art, to paint and to sculpt. So the patrons or the supporters of the arts, pretty important. And then, however, he was seen as young and weak. Other rival members in the family they tried to kill him. So that's just part of the palace intrigue that comes out of the Medici family. And we will talk about the Medicis a little bit more in depth when we come back from our break. I'm going to give us kind of a whole section on the Medicis. But that's a setup. What I need you to take out of that is that these artists had sponsors, and they really couldn't have made it happen by themselves. Their art was not selling for thousands, if not millions of dollars today. Their art wasn't selling for those prices. Their art wasn't even regarded as anything significant at the time because there were so many artists trying to rise to the top. Now today, hundreds of years later, we recognize their genius. We recognize their multi-talents. But in their lifetime, they were very often not celebrated as such. They were not walking around as celebrities in their day. So it just goes to show you sometimes, in your lifetime, your work may not be recognized as significant, but afterwards, maybe you had a significant impact in a way that you'll never know in this lifetime. I'm going to put a pause right there. We'll take our bathroom break, and when we come back, a little bit more about Leonardo da Vinci and the game that I've been talking about. Did you knock the kindness tree down?
Oh,
No, I did. Yes, sir. I'd be happy to. Keep your head up for me. Wait just a second. How we doing? All Wednesday? All right. DJ, you good?
Are you supposed to wear your rice? So it's all, but I fixed it.
Alan was here.
I was doing it fast.
You know what the girl right here, it's yeah, I might skip. I ain't gonna lie, but my mom, I might get it right. I don't get it right.
That's where we're going.
Oh yeah. Try to go too hard on it.
Here comes LeonarDO or LeonarDON'T. We'll see how it goes. my industry be scrolling this morning. It was like, more hot glue. The answer is always more.
Take your off. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, you figured out that man did.
I asked him to keep him while I go use the restroom.
You didn't tell me. I'm telling you why.
I asked him
Tell him. Dude, I'm telling you. Tell him, Mr. Swamp. But they could have on.
Me,
Huh?
huh?
Get that job. Did your mom get that job?
John? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
she's been here.
Yeah.
Oh, she ain't here now. She don't do it.
All right, to set us up for the next phase of this mission, I need to split you into teams. And I believe the way that I want to do that is guys versus gals. Can we handle that? Can we handle that? All right, guys, this side of the room. You don't need to bring your stuff. Just respect whatever desk you sit at. Gals, this side of the room. That's girls. Guys, gals, we can sit where you fit in. It doesn't have to be the seating chart, obviously, because I'm moving you. Guys and gals. Saul, come on, that way. I'll let her Good. Okay, got guys and girls. Now it is going to be a bit of a teamwork game. So as we talk about Leonardo da Vinci, very often you could say he is the ultimate Renaissance man. Renaissance man is characterized as what? Means what?
Oh, and then I
heard it from several, multi-talented. Now, Miss Rosier's going to hand you out a page, and we are about to play the game I like to call Leonardo or LeonarDON'T. All right, I put on my game show host blazer. Like I said, it is a game. This is the show, Leonardo or LeonarDON'T. So, I will be calling up one member from each team to face off head to head. Right, one boy, one girl. I'm going to give each of you these paddles. Leonardo, that means do, or LeonarDON'T, as in don't. No, hold that one. Why y'all get so excited about slapping? That's crazy. Here's how the game works. So one person from each side will come up and be opposing each other. I'm going to show you an invention that is out in the world. Okay, it is an invention. And you have to tell me whether Leonardo da Vinci did invent it, Leonardo, he did invent it, or he did not invent it, LeonarDON'T. And I want you to keep in mind, we were talking about the 1450s, literally 600 years ago. So did Leonardo invent this in the 1450s, or did Leonardo not invent this in the 1450s? And we will keep score. Ms. Roger will keep a little score of, you both sides you get the point, right? If you answer correctly, that's maybe 1 point for each side. Or if you're opposites of each other, only one side's gonna get the point. But everybody has a stake in the game on this follow along sheet here. Here's how this page is gonna work. When I show an invention, you could just simply say what it is. Let's just say the automobile. That's not one of them. The car, truck, right? Write that down here. What is the invention? Write that right here. Then this next one, which is split by the red line, I'm gonna give you a chance to answer. What do you say? LeonarDO, he did invent it. LeonarDON'T, he didn't invent it. This is just your guess. You can't get it wrong. It's just your guess. The next line, when I reveal the answer, I want you to put the actual. So maybe you got it right and you put the same thing. Maybe you got it wrong and you got to put down what it actually is. This is just to kind of follow along, okay? Make your guess and then see if you were right or not. And then the bigger box, I want you to actually sketch the item, whatever the item is. And there's going to be a variety of pictures on the screen that may inspire your sketch. But this is a chance to sketch the item. Just in pencil is fine. We're not going full art or anything like that. If some of you on the more, sorry, I grabbed yours. Some of you on the more artistic side maybe want to go back and add some color to it. That's fine. That's not a have to. Going to sketch the item just to kind of remember what we were talking about, okay? Everybody understand the game? I need my first contestants. I need one boy and one girl. You may choose, but I need to see different people every single time. I need to see different people every single time. Knox might. No. Knox stood up. Knox is here. Knox versus Jackie. So our opponents are one boy and one girl. You got to face each other, right? Kind of on either side of the screen. You got to face each other. Let's play LeonarDO or LeonarDON'T. So our first one is the Mona Lisa. So on your page, write down the Mona Lisa. Your painting, right? The Mona Lisa. And then take your guess. What do you say? Do or don't? Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. Do or don't? Can you remember? Can you remember who painted it? And then on your sketch, sketch out Mona Lisa.
He did not draw.
All right, I have a do. I have a don't. All right, we're going to have a split on the first point here. Are you ready for the answer? I need a drum roll, please. LeonarDO! Okay. Girls only get the point on this. You wanted to slap them for good measure. I don't know about that. All right, so Leonardo da Vinci is the painter of the Mona Lisa. Now, as I'm going to teach about each of these as we go along as well, so this is when you can do your sketch. The Mona Lisa is a very notable painting in history. Aiden pointed that out to us at the very beginning of our Renaissance Week. As I asked with a lot of pictures, I definitely got to do it for this one. What stands out to you?
No eyebrows.
The hair.
No eyebrows. Okay.
The hair.
The hair. What else? The color. Okay, the coloration. You know what?
She's smiling.
You know what stands out to a lot of people is what Abigail just said. Abigail, do you think she's smiling or not?
Yeah.
It looks like it.
You think so?
Her eyes are sweet.
A lot of people are really vexed or confused as to whether she's smiling or not. Some people say it's a very simple smile. She's a content housewife. She's smiling. Other people say she's distressed. She's being forced to sit for this portrait. She's not happy in life. She doesn't have a real happy smile on her face. So it's very interesting. You know, some people you really don't know for sure because we can't go back and talk to her. But is she smiling or not? That is open to interpretation.
She is an unfinished piece as well, so that's so unfinished.
Okay. Yeah. How about it? Time out a little bit more. So look at the following picture. I can remember. Why do you think it is considered to be such a great painting? We kind of already had that conversation. Now a little bit bigger. So look at her mouth. You know, is there a bit of a crease that says she's smiling? Is she activating her facial muscles or not? Like I said, some people really think she was a distressed woman who was forced to be married.
Her nose.
And her nose. We're going with nose as well.
It stops up here and goes like.
All right. Next one. Next one. I need two more contestants. Two more contestants. One boy, one girl. One boy, one girl. One boy, one girl. Yep. I'm not making.
No, I want to go with the game.
Okay. Aiden, be next then. All right, face off, stand and look at each other. Another round of LeonarDO or LeonarDON'T. And the invention is the happy face. Did Leonardo da Vinci invent the happy face?
Write on your paper the happy face. Make your decision.
The happy face. You choose.
Leonardo
He
do
did
or don't.
LeonarDO or LeonarDON'T. So you got to write down your choice, the happy face. Hey, I'm going to take this up as a daily activity grade. We're doing it in class. Don't mess this up. You got to follow along, everyone here. Number 2, the second line is the happy face.
You get this wrong.
Make your vote right
Hey, what'd you
now.
put?
What do you say? He do or he don't invent it. Thea has a don't. Isaac has a don't. Survey, are we ready? Are we ready? Survey says LeonarDON'T. No, he has invented a lot of things, but the happy face is not one of them. So it is LeonarDON'T. Thank you for not smacking anyone. I need another gal. I need another guy. Please, come on up. Come on up. I think I got 12 of these. All right, so we're going to be able to get through everybody. 12 of these. Yeah, I mean, boys,
I got you,
girls,
bro. I got you,
12
bro.
each. All right, next up we have. Let's see here. Okay, sorry. So let me get in a second. So as an artist, Leonardo da Vinci is known for the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. You might remember that as the Among Us meme that I showed yesterday. However, he is not known for the happy face. He focused on realism. He believed that art should reflect life as it is. So maybe knowing that, you might think about what does he say about what does the Mona Lisa really say about him if he was focusing on realism. All right, moving on to our next one. Next one. Hey, here it is. The horseless carriage, i.e. a car. Did Leonardo da Vinci invent a car? What do you say? Make your vote. So write down the car. I guess I kind of gave that as an example. I didn't need to. This music is on
Write
fire.
this one down.
Write it down. The car, horseless carriage, i.e. today we might call that a car.
Horseless carriage.
A self-powered horseless carriage. You have our answers?
Which one?
Hold it up. Hold it up. I gotta do.
Which one?
Don't. I got a don't. Answers are final. Survey says LeonarDO. In 1450, this guy invented a car. Now he did not. It is not a. It is not a car that runs on gasoline. It is not a car much like you might think of a car today. But I want you to notice this. I'm going to start to be able to show you some sketchings from his personal sketchbooks. Right-hand side of the screen there, that is his sketching. So you can see, and then the left-hand side of the screen, that's kind of a modern recreation of it. You can see that the cranks and the turnstiles were kind of designed to have the car move self-propelled. So in a time period where horses and carts were the way to move around at best, he invented what is essentially a future car. And so maybe we should give him credit for inventing the car. So who got that one right? Who was LeonarDO? And it was correct?
We did.
All right, excellent. All right, I need 2 more. I need another gal. Another gal.
2 to 3.
We got Liam versus Fallon. Liam versus Fallon. All right, take your position, face off with each other. You got any smack talk to offer? Is she going down? Is he going down?
Yes.
All right, let's see. Let's see what's next. The light bulb.
No.
LeonarDO or LeonarDO?
I don't know any of those.
Are you positive?
Am I sure?
Yes.
Thomas Edison.
Oh, smack
Hey
talk.
man, hey man.
Smack talk.
Watch out, fam.
Thomas
All right, so I have a don't
No,
and I have a don't. What about the crowd out here? Are you done with your page?
no.
Right, you got to stay on track. We're on number 4 of the light bulb. Number 4 of the light bulb. I don't think I'm going too fast. Y'all stay on track.
How you draw it?
Survey says in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Easy pass.
No, because who invented the light bulb? Thomas Edison. Good. So Leonardo da Vinci invented a lot of things, but the light bulb is not one of them. All right, next contestants for number 5.
Let me tell y'all.
Next contestant, come on up.
Somebody
All right,
different.
go need a gal. Tyra, make a song out of here. Smack anybody.
You can smack talk.
All right, turn and face each other. Any smack talk? She going down? Ooh, okay, that's extra. All right, next one. Moving right along. The parachute.
All right, right
Did
now,
Leonardo da Vinci invent the parachute? I don't know. We don't even have flying machines yet. How in the world would he invent the parachute?
No, this one.
I saw the Peabody.
He is watching this Peabody show.
Man, this is position. Why
It's a Peabody shirt. It's a Peabody
Contestants, I need a final answer.
Right. Let me get this, bro.
I have a dog. Tyra, we need a final answer. Declare your final answer.
Still want to be.
We gotta do. Survey says Leonardo. Right, you are very correct that Peabody insurance represents Leonardo da Vinci's fascination with flight. So this is an example. All right, come back to me. This is an example where your sketch could actually probably look like Leonardo's sketch.
All right,
Look at that. Now, he never put a parachute into action. He never jumped off of a building and actually floated to the ground. But his sketches, look at that. It's more triangular shaped than maybe we would think a parachute is today. But his sketch idea was that this canopy could catch the air and could gently deliver a person to the ground. So he was far, far ahead of his time, a time where we were still centuries away from flight. He was already thinking about potentially parachuting from the sky and falling to the ground. So as someone who has jumped out of perfectly good airplanes for military reasons, I have jumped 17 times out of an airplane and parachuted
Is
to
it
the ground.
scary?
I am grateful for Leonardo da Vinci's forethought into the parachute. So you got your sketch on that? Little stick figure sketch on the parachute. How you doing? Who's perfect so far? Who's got all of them so far? Couples of you? Couples of you? All right. I need new contestants. One of each. One boy, one girl. Give me a gal. Thea. She's already been up. Guys, come on. Come on. Abigail. It's over. All right, take your positions. Positions, please. Next up in our game of Leonardo and LeonarDON'T. Look at that. I found a microphone, so my voice is louder automatically. We have the hang glider. The hang glider. Did he invent the hang glider? Some of you are referencing that beacon of historical accuracy, Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
He did.
Gotta know what we gotta do.
You right, Abigail. You are right.
There's Egypt. There's Leonardo.
Hang glider.
There's a.
Should be your last box on the
All
bottom.
right, my contestants are split. I have a don't and a do. Are you following along on your page here? Following. She's fine. She don't have to raise anything. She can. All right, sir. Have we made our selection? Righteous, what do you say? He says to do. Knox, what do you say? He did it. Bryce, what do you say?
He did it.
And why?
Because Peabody.
Because of Peabody and Sherman. Answer is Leonardo. And again, I will show you his personal sketching. His personal sketch. Now he did not hang glide. He did not put his invention into practice. But his sketchbook shows that he had the thought of how to build a hang glider, kind of a beginning thought for manned flight. He was far ahead of his time thinking about flight in this regard.
We need to do something about that because the girls like on the guy turn they switch their answer because they know we have fight.
When I say final answer, that's when you lock it in.
We don't open up.
Maybe y'all should be quiet. Maybe y'all should just be quiet.
We don't show our answer until they.
All right, I need new contestants. I need new contestants.
LP, you know the win.
Stephanie, come on up.
Hey, go.
Yeah, Madison, here we go. I'm looking for max participation. Everybody can see we're having fun. It's fun to have fun. That's one of my big philosophies. Hey, fun to have fun. All right, contestants face each other. Hey, so we're gonna take a break from our game show here to interview our contestants. Hey, what's your name? Where are you from? Where are you from? What's your favorite ice cream flavor? She doesn't even know. Talon. Hey, Talon. I have to know your name. What's your name? Where are you from? Where are you from? Tell me about them dogs. Can I get a go dog? Woof, 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 woof. All right, I'm just trying to be like that. All right, here we go. Our next one is. Can you believe I'm still talking into the microphone?
Yeah, no.
The helicopter. There's no way he could not possibly have had enough forethought to think about it. Helicopter.
I feel like it is. I feel like
Helicopter. That's first one on the back.
All right, write it down. We should be on the back now. Helicopter.
like you did.
Make your own vote. Do or you don't.
Oh, we got a Leonardo do.
Oh.
And we got a don't.
Stupid.
No way. Parachute. Okay. Hang glider. Okay. No way. All right. Final answer. Final answer. Madison. Final answer.
Not the way he said it, bro. He was
Peanut gallery. Do we have our votes in? Have we written it down? All right, survey says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He do! How did this man invent the helicopter? I'll never know. All right, look at this sketch. That is.
It's a UFO.
It's a UFO. You know what? To people in 1450, they probably would have thought it was an unidentified flying object for sure. So Again, he did not put these flying machines into action. He did not actually build a helicopter that flew, but his thoughts were advanced when it came to flight. And here is why. Let me see. As a scientist, so at first we talked about him as an artist, right? The Mona Lisa in the Last Supper. Well, as a man of multiple talents, that's the definition of a Renaissance man. He was right here, my turn, come on in. He was also a scientist, and he was very interested in flight. If those past three didn't really show that to you, I don't know what else will, right? Hang glider, parachute, helicopter. Now, how do you think he was able to understand flight? Say it again. He was a bird watcher. Right? Humans had not yet invented a machine that was able to fly, but animals all around us are flying. So Leonardo da Vinci was a watcher of birds. You can see in his sketchbook, these are real pictures from his real handwriting. These pictures in his sketchbook show a lot of birds. And he watched how birds would fly, and he thought about how in the world could humans also fly. So this is his interest in flight and how some of his sketches are the forerunners to these major inventions that will come later in time.
This man invented too much.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
On what? What do we
did not
have?
say his name.
For what?
For the helicopter.
This is his handwriting. This is his sketch. So that's where we're going with
Google
that.
says that Igor something.
What, were you getting that from boardpanda.com or something like that?
No, it's off Google.
All right, write this down, Knox, because sometimes it's how you say it. Did Leonardo da Vinci sketch a helicopter? Invent the helicopter? I got it. He never put the pieces together.
He was credited with.
But he sketched the idea of a helicopter. So you guys are critical thinkers. That's what I'm going for this whole time anyway. All right, next up, I need two more candidates. I need two more. Maddie, coming on up.
You got.
I need a boy. I got a girl, I need a boy. Need a girl, I got a boy. All right, face each other. Some of you are paying attention to the screen. Here's the next one. An aircraft carrier. Now, for those of you some of you thought he didn't invent a helicopter. Is it in the realm of the possible?
No,
Aircraft.
Oh, God, yeah.
Right
There's
now.
no way.
Aircraft carrier. That is a boat that is large enough for airplanes
airplanes
to land on it. Fascinated with flight, remember? Fascinated with flight. Would that be-
Yeah, aircraft.
No. When you said you can sketch a helicopter. Okay.
Just copy whatever they
Hey,
take.
I appreciate you think you beat me enough to even back check. That's good. Aircraft carriers. You mentioned your final answer. Hold it high. I got a don't. Madeline, I got a don't.
That is a dude.
Peanut gallery. What do we think? Show me with your thumbs. I got a mixture. I got a mixture. Okay. Survey says. As forward-thinking as he was, as advanced thinking as he was, he did not sketch anything about an aircraft carrier.
They copy everything.
Definitely a man of many talents.
Oh God, you was
All right, I need a girl. Righteous jumped up as the boy, Honey Mark. Oh, it's a kayak.
That's what I want to be.
Man. Hey, what's your name? Where you from?
We bought in something smarter than you.
What's your favorite amusement park ride?
Roller
She doesn't know. Hey, what's your name? Where you from? Woo! What's your favorite sport? Oh man, I thought I'd get something out of him on sports.
Silence.
All right, next up we have LeonarDO or LeonarDON'T scuba gear. Did he invent something that would let you breathe underwater? Scuba gear. Scuba gear. What do you think?
It's
Yeah, dude.
Well, wait, I'm glad I'm
Now he's talking.
Oh,
What is that? What's that? I gotta do.
He ain't making something for the team.
Yeah, let's see him see, not us.
All right, so I hear a lot of energy on this one. I gotta do. Peanut gallery, show me with your thumbs.
Where we at?
We still ahead of you.
Survey says he knew.
Bryce.
Now check it out.
Together.
Again, another one of those situations where he did not build it necessarily. But this right here, this is a suit. This is a suit and an air delivery system that would have allowed a person to be underwater. So again, he was a forerunner in his thinking. It's not exactly like scuba gear today, but this type of mask, and this was oxygen or air that was on the surface, would have allowed someone to breathe underwater.
So you make everything, bro.
Forerunner to scuba gear. All right, we got a couple more, and we're getting into my favorite categories. If I'm a military man, you might think about what my favorite category is. You need another gal. You need another gal. Come on, Kimberly. It's good. It's good. I'm looking for max participation. Solar Kimberly, this is perfect. Go, Chad. Hey, you want to hop back up?
Man, I think you don't win, bro. Tell Saul to go.
All right. I'll never push someone outside their comfort zone, but I will challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone. All right, here we have it. Turn to face each other. Turn to face each other. Did Leonardo da Vinci invent the tank?
No.
Clank, clank, I'm a tank. Boom, boom. Did Leonardo da Vinci invent the tank?
We make it.
Hey, come here often. What's your name? Where you from? He still don't want to talk. Until you want to talk.
Oh.
I gotta do. Ooh. Is he allowed to change his vote? Is he allowed to change his vote?
No.
If Carter say something about it.
All right. Do I have a final answer? Don't. Final answer? Don't. Peanut gallery, writing down. We going? Do the thumbs for me. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. Somewhere in the middle. All right. I need a drum roll on this one. This is one of my favorites. Drum roll, please. LeonarDO. clank. He is a tank. That's right. So again, from his sketchbook, you can see his drawings. What he designed. Now this is a modern battle tank. This is what's in the Army today. But this is what he sketched: a circle. It was actually powered by a series of cranks. And being a circle, he had weapons that faced out every single direction. Okay, another one that kind of looks like a UFO. And yeah, here's how. Let me tell you how advanced his thinking was. You walked in on a lot of interview. Let me tell you how advanced his thinking was. Because he made it cone-shaped, his intention was that bullets would skip off the side. Right? If you have a flat base and a bullet goes into it, splat. But if you have an angled base like that triangle is, projectiles would generally skip off the side. So that's how advanced his thinking was. Now, is this a modern tank? No, but it is a forerunner of the military tank. So it is a LeonarDO. All right, I need two more. Need a gal. We can start repeating. If everybody's gone through, we can start repeating.
She ain't gonna get it right.
Excellent. All right. Staying in the same category, did Leonardo da Vinci invent
No, don't hold it up to the end. Don't say
the machine gun? Did Leonardo da Vinci invent the machine gun? I got a don't.
Alright, right machine gun.
Don't say my
Right
loud.
machine gun.
Okay. It's spicy up in here. I posted for people.
Now click the little thing.
Peanut gallery. Have we made our voice? Have we made our voice?
There's no way that.
Let me show you. He did. Let me see it. He did. Don't even lie. Gunpowder's not even invented yet. Not even a machine gun. Ready for it? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From his sketchbook, this is not a repeating machine gun. I'll nerd out on you today. Today's machine guns are called belt fed. And when you have one round at a time, that's called being belt fed. Leonardo's machine gun was about 8 tubes welded together. And theoretically, if you fired it at once, all 8 bullets would go out at the same time. So this is his machine gun. This is actually a rendering of what it might have been like on wheels, on a cart. So this is something he had a lot of knowledge about, and he was invested in weaponry. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in a second as well, because we're still in the weapons category. So yes, the answer is he do invent machine guns. Leonardo. We are on the last one. So I need one more set of it would be Blaze versus Aiden. It would be for the final battle, the final countdown, showdown. This way. We get real things. We get real.
Don't copy us.
All right, now.
Don't copy us.
What's your name? Where are you from?
My name Aiden. I'm from Jacksonville. I'm from Florida.
Tell me about some of your life goals.
Florida.
I just want to make my mom proud.
He just wants to make a house while he makes a lot of money in the process. I bet. Hey, tell me, do you have any nicknames?
Yeah, they call me. Nah, I can't say it.
Yeah, they call me D1. He told me. Well, I met this kid. He told me I could call him D1. Hey, what's your name? Where you from?
I'm Blaze. I'm from Alma.
Okay, Blaze. That sounds like a nickname. That mean you're really fast? You mean you're like blazing fast? You go on fire? Maybe it's like blazing buffalo hot sauce? Yeah, okay. So are you feeling some pressure on this last one? You a little nervous? Not about him? No, he's
Oh gosh, she is.
Say it with a straight face.
Okay.
Say it with a
Well, hey, now that we know more about our candidates, let's see what the category is. category is a crazy leg chopping machine only suitable for evil geniuses. Crazy leg chopping machine for evil geniuses. It seems like they're keeping their answers to themselves. Seems like they're keeping their answers to themselves.
Oh!
Wow, who would want a leg chopping machine? What?
I feel like she got to do too. Like, we got no.
This is in Mortal Kombat, bro.
Why would somebody make a leg
Final
chopping
answer?
machine?
You don't have to say it. We get real into the rules here. Final answer? You don't have to say it. Okay. Peanut gallery. We got a sketch down. We're going. All right. Peanut gallery. Show me with your hands. Show me with your hands. Show me with your hands. Mixed results here. Mixed results. Blaze. Are you second guessing yourself? No. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Leonardo.
You made your mama proud.
You made your mama proud. This one you make your mama proud. Now check it out again from his sketchbook. He did invent this apparatus that was mechanically cranked, and you can see there's a couple of varieties. It goes in front of the horse, or it's carried by the horse. But as they pulled the carriage, it rotated, and much like the image that you saw here, this is a creation of it. It would be something that would go before soldiers in battle, and it's called an evil leg chopping machine for crazy geniuses. What you got?
Bro, we need a tiebreaker.
Well, wouldn't you know it? On our page, we have culminated. We have finished. But I do have one more as a tiebreaker. So send me one more candidate each. Send me one more candidate each.
We are right now.
Here's a rendering of this leg chopping machine. Now, before I feel the energy in the room. Before we move on to the final category, let me finish up the learning here on weapons. Leonardo da Vinci, this is going to sound crazy. He actually hated war. For a man who invented the machine gun and a leg chopping machine and a tank, he actually hated war. He invented these weapons because he thought, hey, if we have this type of weaponry, surely nobody will ever go to war. If we're able to harm each other in such a way, nobody will ever want to go to war. And so therefore we'll have peace. Now that's a little backwards because unfortunately, hey, let me finish up this weapons talk here. Unfortunately, these weapons didn't get used for peace. They got used to hurt people. And we're going to, you know what? The world's going to continue that conversation with the next set of weapons all the way up to the nuclear bombs. The people who invented the atomic bombs actually thought that they would create peace in the world because nobody would go to war because we have nuclear bombs. Well, unfortunately, these bombs got used and a lot of people died. So kind of interesting that he hated war, but he invented these weapons. And as we said, he invented a tank, machine guns, and the crazy leg chopping machine. So he was very involved in military inventions as well. So we have an artist, we have a scientist, and we actually have a military tactician, the categories we've looked at so far. Now, I'm aware that I have brought this room to a tie, 8-8. We have a perfect tie. As our one-question tiebreaker, and the final invention in this match of LeonarDO or LeonarDO. Now, your page is rounded out, so you don't have to write anything down. This is just the tiebreaker question. Did Leonardo da Vinci invent a humanoid robot, i.e. artificial intelligence moving robot? Leonardo da Vinci inventing a humanoid robot.
Jackie, you get $2.
I am not going to say the answer is selected. What I am going to say is on my count of 3. I'll give you that 1, 2, 3. Righteous, Jackie. You're going to spin to each other and show your answer. Okay? You got it? If you want to video this or Snapchat this, you may. On the count of 3, you're going to spin. You understand? Jackie, you understand? Righteous, you understand?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna spin and show each other your answer as I also reveal it on the screen. So you got your electronic devices ready? I like everybody in the school to know we have more fun than they do. So go ahead and Snapchat this out.
Y'all
5,
supposed to be y'all better.
4,
I got you.
3, 2, 1. Leonardo! It's a tie! It's 6.
I didn't go again.
All right, same two opponents. I want you to turn and face each other. Turn and face each other. And I want you to tell me. I want you, sorry, turn opposite. Turn opposite. Your red paddle represents medieval art. Your blue paddle represents Renaissance art. All right, hey, all these extra assistants.
You want to
Exit, Righteous, you're up here.
Let's go for it.
Jackie, you're up here.
Anyway.
All right, hey, this is my tiebreaker question that I'm making up on the fly. Hang with me. Your red paddle represents medieval art. We talked about yesterday. Your blue paddle represents Renaissance art that we talked about yesterday. Okay, red medieval, blue Renaissance. The piece of art known as Primavera. Which time period did it come from? The piece of art known as Primavera, which in Espanol means spring. Which time period did this come from?
So which one?
But you know the answer.
Red is medieval, blue is Renaissance. Red is medieval, blue is Renaissance. You have your answer?
You gotta do an answer.
Wait, you asked me what? You ain't showing us.
No.
On 3, you shall turn around, and I will declare a champion.
If we lose,
1, 2, 3. Jackie! Primavera is Renaissance art, and if you remember that from yesterday, the girls are the champions! I don't know if I said it right or wrong. I really don't even know anymore. I'm still talking into my dead microphone. Primavera is Renaissance art. And you know what? I think we tied, which is kind of like kissing your sister. But all that, you know what? You guys needed a win after last night. So yeah. Where's she at? I know you had it right.
She didn't have it right.
All right.
Listen, the first time he said it the other way, and the second time he said the other way.
So therefore, everybody gets the emotions and wins. Hey, you know what the coolest part of all this was? Is I tricked you into learning. You had fun and you learned along the way. Let me round it out here, okay? And we are 19. All right, let me finish it up. So the final category here, and this is just like 1 minute here. Let me wrap it up. Leonardo da Vinci was also a scientist. You want to talk about multi-talented artist, inventor, military tactician, scientist. Because of his art skills, he was actually used to sketch out anatomy textbooks. He would look at cadavers, he would look at organs inside of the body, and be able to sketch that. This is a rendering of the heart, the human heart. One of the earliest drawn pictures of a human heart known to humankind. And that rounds out my Leonardo da Vinci. Hey, great class. Clap for yourself. Put your name on your paper, turn it in. With the in-class activity, should be a freebie 100. I'll let you put it right there. Put it right there. Put it right there. Put it right there.
Whoa, what the fuck
Put it right there. Great class. Had fun. Set up for tomorrow. I'm out.
Are people watching that?